Hello, I'm Jeremy Gray for the Tom Crean Show. On Saturday night in Bloomington, this happened.
And then went back in, 19 for him. Here comes Riddell Jones. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Riddell all the way outside to Watford. 3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game! Christian Watford with a 3! And the Hoosiers have knocked off the #1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats! Unbelievable! This place is a madhouse. They've stormed the floor. 20 points for Watford, and another three-pointer on the day is 4th of the afternoon, and it wins it for Indiana. Unbelievable.
This is the Tom Crean Show. Coach, an epic game at Assembly Hall, an epic scene at Assembly Hall, arguably the greatest regular season game ever played in that building, and I don't say that lightly. Your emotions and kind of your thoughts on that game reflecting back.
Well, reflecting back, there was just maybe a sense of relief that we had won, but as I look back on it now to see how it unfolded, to see the numerous up and downs in the game and how we played through it, how Kentucky continued to fight back. I mean, we earned the victory, and the play at the end was just picture perfect on that kind of day, because it came down to execution under pressure, which is really what you judge your team on more than anything else. And for Riddell to have the presence of mind, and for Christian to sprint down the floor, for Cody to set the screen at midcourt, for Victor to do his job and run all the way through, Jordan being on the court, all those things played out, and our guys made a great play. So when you look back at it, fitting way to end the game, but to watch the day unfold the way that it did, it was just great for everybody that's been a Hoosier fan for a long time or just joined in, whatever it is. But it's been awesome to watch the response and see how people have felt about it.
You'd have taken the 3 points any way you could have gotten them, but how fitting was it that two young men who bought in early in this rebuilding process were the two who ultimately executed that play?
Well, I think it was great. And again, there was no set rule on we needed to take a 3. We felt with them having 2 fouls that we had to have something going downhill, so to speak. We had to get them behind us, whether we broke long, which was our first option, or caught the ball on the move, which is what Riddell did, which could potentially get them behind us where they might have to grab, and we got a chance to get an intentional, and because there was no other way to win it with them having the ability to foul us and put us on the sideline for an out of bounds. So to have Riddell make a picture-perfect pass, to have Christian take a picture-perfect shot, it's really symbolic, and those pictures they'll live forever at Indiana. The images and the memories will live forever, and now we've just got to continue to build on so that the next time we're faced with a great opportunity, we're ready to pounce on it as well.
Speak to the toughness of your team, matching one of the best rebounding, if not the best rebounding team in the country, 30-30 on the boards, and then the job your team did defensively, especially on Jones and Davis.
Well, they did a great job inside of the game of following the game plan. The rebounding part was a victory in itself, as we've said a couple different times, because we've been out-rebounded by so much the last couple of years by Kentucky. And we have not rebounded well this year, but our players are capable, and to have 14 offensive rebounds to their 10 says a lot inside of the game. But you can tell when you look at the explosiveness of a Teague or a Gilchrist or Kid Gilchrist, I should say, or Lamb, when you see that speed and quickness, we've got to have great team defense. It broke down on us a little bit late, but we had the ball last and we were able to make a great play. And I say all that because you get a win like that, it can be a springboard to so many other things, but we have got to keep improving. That's the bottom line.
All right, now we're going to check out a segment with Megan Crean as she interviews basketball icon Dick Vitale on our behind-the-scenes segment.
I'm Megan Crean for the Tom Crean Show, and today I got a chance to catch up with Dick Vitale before the Kentucky game. What impresses you the most about the history of Indiana basketball?
Well, you look at Indiana basketball, people have a great passion and a love for the game, Megan. They absolutely love Hoosier basketball, and I think you look at the history. I think the history really, if you're a basketball lover, you got to get enthused and excited about what's been achieved here over the years.
Is Cody Zeller a diaper dandy?
Cody Zeller, without a doubt, is a diaper dandy. He's got great skills, but I think what separates Cody from a lot of people, he's a genuine student athlete. He is more than just a basketball player. I mean, the kid was a valedictorian in high school, just a terrific. Whatever his mother is doing with those three kids, I wish she would package it, bottle it, and utilize it as a formula for kids all over America.
Do you like broadcasting games in Assembly Hall?
Absolutely, especially on a day like today with Kentucky coming in undefeated. It's a great feeling, but you know, I love going to places where there's enthusiasm, there's energy, and anytime you talk about Indiana, Duke, Kentucky, those places, North Carolina, they have that. They have that. And right now, Coach Crean is going to get that back here.
Would you say Indiana basketball fans are some of the most passionate in the country?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it. They eat, sleep, and drink the game. I can tell by, for example, my tweets that I get. If people want on Twitter, just go to Dickie V, but I get loads of Hoosier tweets from all their people saying we are back. This is now going to be Indiana basketball again. Great recruits coming in. So I can tell that there's an incredible affection and a love for Hoosier basketball.
Do you feel that IU basketball is back on its way to the top?
Oh, I think that they're making strides. I think what you got to do is be consistent. You can't just do it in a one-time scenario. You got to do it in league play. You got to be able to be up there in the upper echelon. I mean, Indiana basketball should be in the upper echelon of the Big Ten.
When we return, we'll talk to Coach Crean about taking on Notre Dame in the Crossroads Classic on the Tom Crean Show. Coach, you got an exam week coming up and then a huge game on Saturday as you take on a team that you're familiar with from your days coaching at Marquette, in-state rival in Notre Dame.
Well, it's a tough week for everybody in college because the number one focus is their academics, and our players are no different. So we want to make sure, though, that we max out our practice time in the sense that it's a great diversion for them from their classes and from their studying, which they're spending so much time on. And at the same time, it keeps them concentrated and locked in, but it brings a little bit of a different time for them where they can really bring out their energy and focus and continue to get better in it. Because the one thing we cannot drop is our work habits or our preparation habits. And it's a tough week for that, so you kind of schedule around trying to make sure you have as many guys there as you possibly can inside of the exams. We'll take them all the way through Friday, because it is a big game. Every game is a big game, and when you're playing a team like Notre Dame that's so good from the three-point line, that's got some veterans that have played, and there's some familiarity between our players and their players, whether they're from Indiana or whether they're from the D.C. Baltimore area. So it will be a very big game in a great venue, and again, what promises to be, I think, a lot of pageantry inside of Conseco that day.
How important is it to have a nice Indiana contingent in attendance at Conseco Fieldhouse, and then of course the 4 games over break as well?
Well, there's no question. We want to get used to playing in front of crowds like we had this past Saturday. There's no question. So I think we'll have a lot of Indiana fans. I hope we have even more. And when it comes to the game on the 19th and the 22nd, that's when you know your program is really making strides, when you have a big crowd and the students aren't there. Because obviously they're going to go home, and then we have the game on the 31st with Ohio State, and then I believe Michigan after that. So getting those games sold out is paramount, especially the Ohio State and the Michigan game. Getting a big crowd for the game on the 19th and the 22nd, 19th and the 22nd, there's no reason not to have that.
We lucked out. We were planning this week's show and decided to do a segment on the student section, and boy, did they ever come through against Kentucky this past weekend.
Well, they've been coming through longer than what we've been here, but to see this week, they set a different standard for themselves, starting with Tuesday for the ones that spent the night outside. But I know I went outside after our walkthrough at about 1:30 on Saturday, and there had to be a couple thousand people that were already out there. I tried to take a picture or shake hands or sign an autograph with every one of them, and probably still missed some, and I left at 2:30. But when you've got that kind of passion, you just can't say thank you enough. And without a doubt, our fans would deserve a game ball based, if it was legal, would deserve a game ball based on the way that they were inside of that game. In our student section, there is no question. And I think the world saw it on Saturday in the game. They take a backseat to no one.
The decibel level in Assembly Hall this past Saturday reached 115. Unreal. Now we've got J.D. Campbell on the hot seat.
Today on the hot seat, we're talking to J.D. Campbell. To the hot seat. You were Baseball Player of the Year in Nevada in high school. You beat out Greg Maddux. Did you ever hit against him?
I did once. Now, to be fair, I was a senior when he was a freshman, so we wouldn't have probably competed too much for that. But I did get to face him when I was in college, and he was older in high school, and I grounded out to second. But obviously, with the great career he's had, it's a great thrill to look back on it now, to be able to hit against somebody who's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I hear your youngest son, Chris, is quite a ball player. Can he out-hit his old man yet?
Not in his best day.
Are you worried about Chris breaking your records?
Not even close.
What's on your iPod?
You know, I don't own an iPod, but I sit there and my kids do. For me right now, I'm really into Pink Floyd, George Harrison, groups that, you know, just take me back to when I was younger growing up.
You've worked with a lot of great teams. Where do you see this program going in the future?
Oh, I think, you know, when you look at Indiana basketball in the future, I see a team whose potential is endless. I think as this team continues to grow and as the team continues to gain more confidence, you know, I'm looking forward to being a part of that journey and getting the opportunity to go and visit many places, meet a lot of Indiana fans. And ultimately, it's all about competing for championships here at IU, and I think the program is definitely headed in that direction.
Thanks for joining us today.
When we come back, we'll break down the game of Christian Watford on the Tom Crean Show. Coach, Christian Watford hit the jumper, but he did so much more in that game and has done so much more this season. He's really stepped it up defensively. He's extended his range. He's become quite the player.
There's no question. He's had a great offseason. And from basically the second day after spring break, he's really had a transformation in the way that he works and plays, but most importantly, the consistency of it. And again, you said it defensively. I think obviously he had the 20 points and he had the game-winning shot, but the job he did on a preseason All-American and Terrence Jones was tremendous. And that's what Christian's capable of. And Christian's just got to keep making sure that he can challenge himself and accept the challenges that we put out there in front of him, because he can get nothing but better. And that's all he's been doing since he's been here.
He was also stronger around the basket in that game, taking it to the hole, posting people up, had that nice hook shot in the lane.
Well, he had great determination, and he played that game with grit. And when Christian plays that way, he's at another level. Then he'll play at the next level. And what he's got to be able to do is he's got to be able to sustain that, because he practices very well. He works hard on his game. He's developed a very good shot. That's why great, you know, image from this game is how picture perfect that jump shot was that he took at the end of the game. But the other threes that he made were pretty important too. So really did an excellent job, and the next step for him is that consistency game in and game out, better on the ball defense, and then really being able to beat his man to the rim and then read the situation on a kick out or if he should take the shot.
And for that outstanding game, he was named Big Ten Player of the Week.
Deservedly so.
He had a phenomenal day, and now we're going to check out what's going on around campus.
The painting had a very important place in our collection because it represented German art and culture. And we have, actually, most American museums don't have that much because Germany's been very strong in preserving its own visual patrimony. So we were very lucky to have this painting for the 26 years that we had it.
Institutions of learning and higher education really have a moral responsibility to return works of art to their rightful owners if that case can be proved, irrespective of whether or not legally we could have kept that painting.
The minute we knew this claim was fair and honest and right, to approach Berlin, come visit and say, let's do this and let's plan this, and we were very happy to work together.
So this case here, other museum and institution to say, well, we feel sorry that it is with us, we give it back to the original place, that's absolutely unique. And it's, of course, it's the best base to build in future together with these other museums to have now a solid basement for a new partnership.
There are many points of common interest, and I believe that this could be a good starting point for further collaboration between the university, exchanging experts, curators, restorers, or even students, or maybe organizing internships, whatever.
I think it's an extraordinary gesture on behalf of Indiana University, one of our great American universities, and we offer the assistance in the form of the U.S. government, not just the State Department, but it really does depend on the specific situation. Herman B. Wells is such a unique, iconic figure, not just in Indiana's history, but in Berlin's history, and specifically with this piece of art, that this one was much more straightforward. At the end of the day, all is whole, all is at peace as a result of this ceremony today. So I'm very, very proud to be a part of it.
When we return, we'll profile the biggest and best student section in the country on our This is Indiana segment. With 7,800 student season ticket holders, Indiana has the biggest student section in the country. Our very own Margot Andrews will check it out on our segment called This is Indiana.
I'm standing in the middle of the largest student section in the country, which of course means we're here inside Assembly Hall at Indiana University, where each week dedicated fans bring their enthusiasm and support to their Hoosier team.
Around 6 o'clock.
6:30 a.m.
Since 7 a.m. Being a part of the largest student section in the country takes dedication and a little bit of patience. Fans weren't even let inside the gates until 3:45, but that didn't stop them from forming a line outside of Assembly Hall.
We were fortunate enough to get GA tickets for this game, and we only get 2 a year. We were fortunate enough to get it for the Kentucky game. They're the #1 team in the country, and we want to be in the first row when we make history today.
I think this is the most important game of the last 10 years since the 2002 championship. This is going to be absolutely insane, and I think IU has a real chance of winning this game.
Yes, I do. I 100% am behind IU basketball. Yes, I do. I think we're going to win. Fans were especially excited for this game as the Hoosiers took on #1 ranked Kentucky and had a chance to prove that hard work pays off.
We've been here for 4 years now. We've been with this team through thick and thin. This program started back from rock bottom when Tom Crean came in. They're about to show the nation that we're back.
We've all wanted to be at an IU-UK game since we were babies, and this is like a dream come true.
The electricity in here is unreal right now. We're going to be so loud today. I don't think there's a louder stadium in college basketball.
That electricity came from a packed stadium as thousands had the chance to see Indiana win with the last-second three, immediately followed by fans storming the court.
So ridiculously proud. I can't explain it. Like this is we ran here from our house. We weren't even at the game. I ran here barefoot. I'm a fan.
The fans stick behind us no matter what we've been through. Tonight I hit a big shot and they came supporting me. I mean, we feed off them and they feed off us.
They brought a lot of energy. Got my blood flowing, so can run a little faster, jump a little higher. I'm glad they came to support us, and I'm glad we came out to win.
That energy paid off and gave the largest student section in the country one of its most memorable nights. I'm Margot Andrews for the Tom Crean Show, and this is Indiana.
We'll wrap up with Coach right after this on the Tom Crean Show. Now it's time for our segment called Ask Coach Crean. This one comes from the Indiana Athletics Facebook page, and it's from Micah Hazelip, who's a misplaced Hoosier out in Northern California. He got kicked off of the golf course when Seawad hit that shot. Apparently he went nuts. He got bounced out of the golf course. What was the first thing that came to your mind when you woke up on Sunday morning?
First off, what kind of golf course would kick out a Hoosier after a game like that? First thing that went through my mind was we need to add some things offensively that are a little bit better post-up wise on the second side, meaning let's look to the first side, it's covered, let's get it reversed, let's get it on the second side. And then which church service I was going to go to, which was probably the next one.
All right, we're going to wrap things up here. I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. We'll see you next time on the Tom Crean Show.